Hello everyone and welcome back yet again to another daily update video. My name is CryptoStash and I hope you're having an amazing week. Currently it is Friday, the end of the trading week for the traditional markets, and Bitcoin today is, as you can see, we are rejecting from that POC, basically the point of control where the most of the volume is trading. As you can see on yesterday's candle, we did get a wick right above to the second weekly resistance, pivot resistance, as you can see, and this is also where the POC is sitting, and right now Bitcoin is having a rejection from this level and we are down almost 2%, but in my opinion, if we failed to close above this level, basically we did not even get a breakthrough, Bitcoin did not even try to break above this level, while the stock market is sitting at an all-time high. This makes me think that Bitcoin is due for a bigger correction, basically a potential liquidity grab lower, maybe even towards, if we open my other chart and if we go right here on the daily, as you can see, towards this box right here. Basically, this is where a major of liquidity, of liquidations, long liquidations are sitting, which have not been swept yet. As you can see, the previous time we front ran this box right here and we bounced from the POC of this previous range before we broke out, as you can see. So this time it might be different. If we start breaking towards the downside right here, we might see some more liquidity grab for Bitcoin, since it is still the middle of September. This month, if we go on the monthly chart, has basically enough time to potentially turn over, and we might see some lower prices for Bitcoin. So this candle, if the seller starts stepping in right here, we might get a candle closure, basically a red candle closure for September, which would potentially take us all the way down from there. And from the current prices that we are trading right now, that would be a 15% of a correction, which is not that much for Bitcoin. But if we measure from the top that we had at 124k all the way down, that would be a 21% correction, which is completely normal for a bull market. We had those kind of pullbacks right here. We had those pullbacks back when we hit 109k. We had that pullback. As you can see, we did have a pullback after hitting 123k for the first time. Basically, we had another pullback, and right now potentially we are due for another pullback. As you can see what I'm talking about, this is a great liquidity cluster sitting to the downside right here. All of this is liquidity waiting to be swept, in my opinion. And if Bitcoin fails to reclaim this particular level at 118, 170k is a very key level, then as I said, I am potentially expecting lower price targets for now. If you look at Ethereum still trading above the 4 yearly resistance. As I always say, right now this is very important resistance, which has flipped right now as support, and as long as price remains above it, then I am expecting potentially Ethereum to, after some time, to basically start pushing higher again. But as of right now, it is still looking good. Potentially we might come all the way down to retest it. Basically 3900 would be a very key level. Potentially we might get a fake out, basically liquidity grab towards this low right here, and then I would want to see something like a potential drop and then a V-shaped bottom recovery potentially after grabbing the liquidity right here, and then Ethereum would potentially reverse towards the upside. This is one of the scenarios that I am expecting. Solana right now on the daily is basically 24-23% away from its all-time high and is still pretty nice in an uptrend. And as long as Bitcoins remain above 100k, I don't see a reason for Solana not to hit its all-time high. Since Ethereum hit its all-time high, Hype has hit an all-time high, XRP, I think exactly XRP also hit its all-time high. So Solana will potentially sooner than later hit also its all-time high. But something very important that I want to talk about is the dollar right here. And since the dollar is having somewhat of a correction after finding a failing to break below the previous bottom right here on the daily time frame, basically it is possible that Bitcoin would see some more of a downside, since if the dollar is pumping, this means that Bitcoin might get a significantly bigger correction. But something that we also want to keep in mind is that the stock market is still very nice and bullish, which is also why I'm thinking that Bitcoin will potentially be just ranging instead of having a major dump. But nobody knows, as you know, the market makers would potentially want to liquidate and take as liquidity the late longers, which have longed 107 and potentially 99k. Basically those level, in my opinion, would be eventually taken out from the market makers. Now for the Bitcoin ETF inflows, we did have another bullish day today, as you can see, 163 million. BlackRock did not buy any this time, they just held, they did not sold. As you can see, it sits as zero. Basically they just did not buy any today, but some of the other bigger guys like Fidelity, they did buy some Bitcoin spot ETF, which is very nice. The Fear and Greed Index, nothing new here, still sitting at 52. I will not even cover that. As you can see, it has been yesterday neutral, last week, last month. We have been basically sitting in that neutral zone for some very long time. The long versus shorts ratio, as you can see, has finally flipped. Even on Hyperliquid, we do have more sellers in the market as of today. As you can see, basically on the most of the major exchanges, we still have sellers that would be pushing price down, as you can see. So this is also something to keep in mind of. Funding rates are still positive, which is good. We had all of our news today, and we are coming right now into the weekend. Basically for next week, I don't think we have more important. We do have some news on Friday and on Tuesday that would be important for crypto. Also on Thursday. But basically that would be it, guys, for today's update video. I hope you liked it. Subscribe for my channel, and I'll see you again in the next one. Bye.